Hi everyone, Brendan Ziolo here again with our third episode of the Get Found series. As you may recall, in the first two we looked at your media strategy and then your content strategy. Today we're going to put all the pieces together. As a reminder, what we're trying to do at the end of the day is to engage your audience throughout their journey so that they convert from prospects to customers for your platform. And how you do that is making sure it's easy for them to find the content they need when they need it to make those decisions. As a refresher, we look at our journey through three key phases. One is awareness, where you're building thought leadership and making sure they know who you are. In engagement, you're starting to explain how you can help them. And in conversation, you start to convert those prospects into customers. A lot of this is a recap on this slide from our earlier videos, so I encourage you to check them out if you want more detail. But again, we have the three phases, we have the different content types that we could use and the different media types. As a refresher, we use the Hero Hub Help model to define our content strategy, and that's what you see here. On the media side, we use the paid, earned, and owned media framework to define what works and when. What I didn't really cover in the previous videos, but I would be remiss if I didn't cover it a bit here, is you want to make sure you map key messages across the journey as well, because it will evolve. I'm all for clear, consistent, and simple messaging, but it also needs to evolve as the buyer moves through the journey. So in the early phases, you need to show you have an understanding of the customer problem, use their language. In the engagement phase, you start to explain how you address that problem, not so much from a product perspective, but from an approach or a technology perspective. And then when we get to conversion, you need to convince the buyer why your solution is better and how others have gotten success there. At the end of the day, this is how I tend to map it all together. So, not surprisingly, we've got our three phases of the journey, but you want to make sure you've got those critical content pieces at each phase. Hero is great for awareness, Hub is great for engagement, and Help is great for conversion. Now, this isn't a black and white thing. You will be moving some of those pieces around, but from a framework perspective, you want that key initial piece. It could be a great research report, maybe a video series, maybe some articles on the thought leadership front. On the Hub front, that's where you want people coming back for more. We'll also want to start to capture lead info there. So white papers, webinars, ebooks, that type of thing is really, really great there. And then at the final phase where you're convincing them that you have the solution and how others have achieved success, things like case studies, FAQ documents, demos are great here too if you can somehow demo your solution. So you want those critical anchor pieces along the way, and then you want to use that mix of media that we talked about in the first video. So from an earned media perspective, if you can get those articles placed on a third-party site, that's even better, right? That's more credible. You'll want to start promoting on social, wherever those articles live or those hero pieces live. And then if you have money and budget and time, you can always start to do paid. So paid social, third-party ads, but these will be more awareness-oriented ads than ones that lead to a call to action where there's a lead capture or something like that. When we move to engagement, paid is really critical here, especially, I would save your budget on the paid front for here. Again, there's different types of ads, LinkedIn, Google ads, third-party ads, but content syndication is also great here because then you're leveraging the audience that some of these media properties have built. Owned, we want to continue to promote through social. We may be able to use some email, and we want to start bringing people back to your website and your web hub. And then on the earned front, probably less important here, but if you're getting additional coverage, that would be awesome. And then at the final phase, on the conversion stuff, we really want to get the owned media going here. So email marketing, email nurtures are really important here. On the earned front, there's also reviews, customer testimonials, all that credibility stuff. If you can place that here, that would be ideal. And then paid is great, especially retargeting, because not all of your audience won't have necessarily engaged earlier, but you'll want to get them engaged and converting here for sure. So retargeting is great. Brand awareness ads also work well here as a reminder for what you stand for. So at the end of the day, we developed the media strategy through the earned, owned, and paid model We develop our content through the Hero Hub Help model, and then we put all the pieces together into something like this that flows. Obviously, depending on your product, your solutions, your target audience, what you use where here will differ, but this framework to me is a great foundational way for you to start to thinking and build your integrated marketing strategy. If you want to find out more about this series, you can check out the link below.